What's going on, guys? It is TRLegosfan coming back at you with yet another Brickarms video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 favorite crazy or uniquely colored Brickarms Halo weapons from my collection specifically. Over the years, I've accumulated a large amount of interestingly colored Halo Brickarms weapons, be it from LEGO conventions or winning Brickarms Forums contests. Either way, a lot of the items I have in my collection are either one of a kind or aren't seen very often in the color I have them in. It was tough to narrow this list down to just 10 items because there were plenty of other good choices, but I think I'm confident with the list I came up with. So I think in this video there are going to be a lot of Brickarms items that you definitely either haven't seen before or haven't seen in such a unique color. Even in this pile, I think there will be a few of them that immediately catch your eye. And by the way, about this pile, not all of these weapons are going to be in the list. I wanted to throw in a bunch of extras for the opening of this video so as not to spoil which ones are actually my favorites. So before we get started, I just wanted to say if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got a lot of videos like this coming out every Friday. Also, leave a comment down below right now if you think any of the weapons you can see here are going to make this list, and if so, which ones. Then at the end of the video, you can check to see if you were right. Alright guys, without any further ado, let's get on to my top 10 favorite unique or interestingly colored Halo Brickarms weapons from my collection. For our first weapon here, we've got a Brickarms Heavy Laser, modeled of course off of the Spartan Laser from Halo, in a translucent clear color. As you can see here, this weapon pairs really nicely with the translucent clear Spartan armor from Brickforge to effectively convey the look of active camo from Halo. The reason I find this weapon unique is because usually with Brickarms Heavy Lasers, they come in a triple overmold, not in a single color like this one here. On top of that, this weapon is very niche, as it has a crazy or interesting color while still fulfilling the role of being a game-accurate weapon, seeing as how the invisibility power-up is featured very prominently throughout the Halo series. All in all, it's just a really great weapon, and I've never really seen one before with this color in the Brickarms community. Next up at number 9, we've got this crazy translucent colored Brickarms XLR, based on, of course, the light rifle from Halo. While I have seen a variety of different color overmolded Brickarms light rifles, it's not too often you see one overmolded with two different translucent colors. This one, of course, featuring translucent green for the body and translucent red for the core. And actually, now that I look at it, it looks like there could be a little blue in there on the body too, almost as if to make a translucent turquoise color. Either way, while you probably wouldn't see a light rifle looking like this in any Halo game, it's still a very cool color combination. Another thing I like about this weapon is with most Brickarms XLRs, it can be kinda hard to distinguish the red core down the center because the gunmetal takes up so much of the focus. However, in this case, it's really easy to distinguish the red from the green, which really makes the weapon pop. For weapon number 8, we have got a Brickarms item I have yet to feature on this channel. This is the XBR-3. This is based off of the iconic Halo 2 and 3 variant of the battle rifle, and for those of you who don't know me, this is my favorite Brickarms Halo X series weapon. I have an absolutely huge collection of these weapons, all in a bunch of totally unique and crazy colors, so I knew that at least one of them had to be put into this list. And so I chose what I thought to be at least the most unique one I had, a swirl of standard yellow and translucent red. Like, come on, when have you ever seen a Brickarms prototype weapon with this color scheme? It's so cool. It kind of evokes the feeling of fire for me, which is really awesome to see in a weapon like this. Before we move on, I just want to note how well this weapon looks when being held by a purple Spartan. It really creates an interesting contrast. Up next is a weapon we've already looked at several times on my channel, the Overmolded Energy Pistol. What sets this version aside from the others we've looked at is its colors. This one features a dark blue plastic for the body and a translucent green one for the details, whereas the others we've seen used purple and lime green. What I like about this unique color scheme is that it still does work within Halo's art style. See, while in some games, the plasma pistol was purple and lime like the traditional Brickarms replica, games like Halo Reach and 4 feature a more blue version. As such, I was very pleased when I saw this weapon available for trade on Flickr way back in the day. I knew that while the standard purple variants were rare, this weapon was one of a kind. Coming in at number 6, we have got a very unique Brickarms weapon, an Undermolded version 1 Railgun. The undermold is essentially the core of a two-part overmold, so the item you see here would have normally received a second layer of plastic in a different color, only this one didn't. This is one of the few cases where the first part of a Brickarms overmold can actually serve as its own unique weapon. While you can clearly tell from the center that this is meant to be part of the Halo Railgun, the overall shape is a lot more sleek and looks very cool as its own standalone design. Seeing as how this is not only one of the few railgun cores that didn't get overmolded, but also a core from the rare version 1 design, it makes for a very unique Brickarms weapon that I definitely had to include and put this high on the list. For number 5 on our list, we have the Halo rocket launcher inspired Brickarms XM41, but with a special twist. I'm sure you can tell right off the bat that this overmolded rocket launcher isn't like the standard version with aluminum rocket tubes. Oh no, this one's tubes are bronze. That gives the weapon a drastically different feel when it comes to color, as this one here sports black and gold rather than the usual black and silver. Only a very small amount of these bronze tube launchers exist. In fact, as far as I know, less than 10 of them were ever even made, and it honestly could be even less than that. I've only seen one other like it in the active community, and that was on the Instagram account of Alabama Collector. Ultimately, this incredibly rare item was a very cool experiment done by Brickarms, and it's interesting to see that metals other than aluminum were tried out for this weapon. Coming in at number 4, we've got a very uniquely colored variant of the rare Brickarms version 1 XLMD. This is of course the version of the rocket pistol with a removable grenade, and with a very fine color scheme this time. I am a big fan of translucent colored Brickarms weapons, if you couldn't already tell, and seeing them combined in an overmold like this just looks really cool. This particular weapon here has a translucent blue core, a translucent green cover, and a grenade that is actually translucent yellow. It might be hard to see on video, but the colors of the grenade and the cover on this weapon are actually very different. I was really excited when I saw this weapon in a prize pack that I had got for winning Mock of the Month many years ago, as not only was it the rare V1 variant of this weapon, but it also featured such a great color scheme. In fact, I don't think I even knew that translucent yellow Brickarms items even existed until I saw this. To this day, I remember getting my Mock of the Month prizes in the mail, and this weapon remains one of my favorites from that package, and probably always will. For our number 3 item on this list, we have got quite an interesting one, or more accurately, quite an interesting 2. I had to end up going with a double for this spot because as you can see here, these railguns are still on their sprue. Now, I'm sure this is common knowledge, but just in case anyone doesn't know, this is how Brickarms prototypes are made. The plastic is injected into a mold, and the sprue part guides it from the opening of the mold into the part that forms the actual weapons. So with that out of the way, let's talk about why I chose these railguns. Well, if it wasn't obvious enough, it was because of the color. This is one of my absolute favorite color combinations that I have ever seen on a Brickarms weapon, as there are just so many colors that are featured here. The core of each railgun is a swirl of translucent red and translucent clear plastic, while the overmold parts are made with a combination of green, cobalt, and glow-in-the-dark. It's such a crazy selection and amount of colors that you definitely don't see very often on Brickarms weapons. Finally, as a quick side note, I always make my Spartan and Halo multiplayer blue and green, so it's nice to see a Brickarms gun with a similar style. For my second favorite unique and rare Brickarms Halo weapon, we have got a green colored MPC. The MPC is based off of the machine gun turret from Halo, and I think it is one of the coolest Brickarms accessories that has ever been made. This is another one of the items that I received in my Mock of the Month prize pack, and honestly, when I opened the package and saw this inside, I was shocked. MPCs are very rare as it is, and until I saw this one, I thought that they had only been known to exist in black and gunmetal. I didn't know that it was even being considered to mold them in different colors. I believe that my posting this to Flickr was the first instance of an MPC in a color besides black or gunmetal being seen in the community. Although there have been MPCs seen in 2 other non-standard colors, this is the only one that is green. So while there are a lot of crazy and rare weapons on this list, this one is truly one of a kind. And before we move on to item number 1, I wanted to take the time to acknowledge a quick honorable mention for this list. Here being held by a Minifigs for You Cortana minifigure, we have another Brickarms XM41, this time being molded in transparent blue instead of black. While not quite as rare as the launcher with bronze tubes, it is not too often that we see an XM41 overmold in a color other than black. While I have seen many of these Halo rocket launchers in unique colors, they are typically the non-overmolded ones, meaning they don't have the aluminum tubes. Even though this weapon didn't quite make the list, I did think it was really cool and rare enough to throw into the video just before the end. Alright everyone, with that out of the way, let's move on to item number 1. And the number 1 item on this list is Are you surprised? That's right, it's one of the only other NPCs to be molded in a color besides black or gunmetal that I was referencing earlier. This NPC shares a very similar story to that of the green one. In fact, everything I said about the green one can also be applied to this one here, except for, of course, one thing. This one is blue. So, like I said before, there are only 3 NPCs known to exist in non-standard colors, 2 of those being my green one and my blue one right here. I do actually have an NPC in OD green as well, but for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and count that as a standard color since it can still be considered game accurate. So, with the rarity level and uniqueness being the same, why did I choose this one for the number 1 spot over the green NPC? Simple. I like the color blue more. Well, there you have it, everyone. That just about does it for all the weapons on this list. But before you go, be sure to stick around for my final thoughts. Well guys, that just about does it for my top 10 favorite crazy Halo Brickarms weapons from my collection. Did you like this list? What was your favorite item from it? And what would you have put on there? Let me know down in the comments. Also, while you're here, be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and check out all my social media links in the description. And as I do in all my videos, I would like to take a quick moment to plug my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TRLgames. I stream every Saturday night at 8 p.m. EST, usually playing Halo, but occasionally I do some other games. That link is also in the description, so feel free to check it out and come stop by for a stream sometime. It would really mean a lot to me. Well, that's about all I have time for today. I hope you all have a great weekend, and until next time, TRLegosfan signing off.